Okay, we started. Notification. Not one play. Why did it not copy? There we go. One moment, I'll switch back. Puzzle. Change the source, make sure that is valid. Okay, that means I have to come over here. There we are. Hi there. Did not need that. Alright. Make sure I'm pulling up the easy one first. There we go. All right, we got two puzzles today. It's Tuesday. And I have some troubleshooting yet to do. There should have been music in my ear as we set up the stream. Ultimately, I'm hoping to do a talk-in as part of that, and we'll explain things like when I hit the validate button, it starts the game if the game validates, which is what I'm going to do now. And you get about 20 seconds before I start actually solving for you to see about you can grab a screenshot and start solving. And yes, it is validated. So we've got another 14 seconds. Well, less than that now. Empty. Oh well. And 2 more seconds. 1, 0. Okay. One of these two is 1. One of these two is 1. Get 3 possibilities here. These two is a 1. And 3 possibilities here. Go on to 2s. I get 3 possibilities here. hearing my voice? It's a little loud for me. Okay. 4 possibilities here and here. 4 possibilities there and here. And everything's open on these 2 squares. All right, 3. Got 3 possibilities there. So 3 possibilities up here. And 3 there, and 2 possibilities up here. So let's look on the 4s. All right, we have 5 possibilities there. 4 here. 4 here. 3 here. 5 here, or 7 here. And 4 here. 4 here as well. So on the 5s. 2 possibilities for a 5 here. 3 here, 4 here, 4 here. 3 possibilities here. That means we get a 5 here, and we are now down to 2 possibilities here. All right, and we get 2 possibilities for a 6 here. I've got 4 possibilities here, 2 possibilities here, which reduces this to 2. And then up here, I've got 3 possibilities, 2 possibilities. That affects here, 2 possibilities there. And yep, we're stuck with 5 possibilities here for the moment. 7s. Now I've got 3 7 possibilities here, 3 here, 2 here, a solve of a 7 here, 2 possibilities here, and 3 here. All right. The 8s, there and there. That says one of these 2 is an 8. One of these 2 is an 8. That can no longer be a 1, so that's a 1. I've got 2 possibilities for an 8 here. Gives me 2 over here. Down here, I've got everything open. 4 possibilities here. And 4 possibilities here. All right, on to 9s for now. None of these can be a 9. That can't. That's a 9. These 3 is a 9, but that means one of these 2 here is a 9. Here we've got 3 possibilities, 2 possibilities here. That means this is a 9, which affects this over here. We're now down to 3 possibilities here, 4 here, and 3 possibilities here. Okay. So we got a 7-8 pair here. Anything else I can work with right off the bat? Not yet. Wait a moment. That's not a 6. So one of these 2 is a 6. I think that's a 5. Or one has an option of being a 5. All right. And so we got a 1, 2, and 3 here. One of these 2 is going to be a 4. One of these 2 is going to be a 5. It goes with a 9, so that's not a 4. That's 4. All right. 5s and 9s are useful, as useful. However, we've got this 1 here. Says one of these 2 is a 1, which means one of these 2 is a 1. get 1 and 8s here. So down here we get 2s and 6 as a pair there. The moment we're kind of wide open on 2s. 1s, 2s, 3. Oh, one of these 2 is a 4. Excuse me. Sorry. 5. About 6s. We got those 2 as being 6s. 7, 8, and 9. Suggests that one of these 2 is going to be a 2, but can't lock that in quite yet. So 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, and 7. 1 here. One of these 4 is a 2, a 3. No guidance on 4s. It can be any of these. We have these 2s potentially 5, 6, and 7s. And one of these 3 will be an 8. That means not an 8 up here. This is an 8. All right. And that 1 says that can't be a 1. So that's a 1, that's a 6, that's a 4, that's a 2. All right. Had a mistake with that earlier. Okay, that 2 says this can't be a 2. That's a 6 now. That's a 2. 1 8 pair here. These are all going to be controlled elsewhere. Ah, that's not a 1. This is going to be an 8. That's a 1. And this is going to be a 1. Not a 1 there. And we get one of these 2 is a 2 now. One of these 3 will be a 2. 1, 2, 3. That could be a 4, or 4 here. 5, 6. That could be a 7, or 7 here. Not enough to mark either of them. 1, 2, 3. All 4 of these could be a 4. 5, 6. All 4 of these, but 3 of these could be a 7. One of these 4 is an 8. And one of these 2 is a 9. That does change a couple of things. So 1, 2, 3. 2 possibilities for 4 now. 5, 6. 2 possibilities for 7. That makes this one an 8. Means not an 8. That becomes an 8. This becomes a 6. One of these 2 is now a 7. Still have 2 possibilities here. Let's see. One of these 3 is going to be a 2. One of them is going to be a 3. That means one of these 2 is a 4. Which means one of these 2 is a 4. Goes with the 1s. So now we've got 2s going into one of these 3. 3s become one of these 2. That makes this into a 2. Now means one of these 2 is a 2. One of these 2 is a 2. And down here, one of these 2 becomes a 2. Let's see anything else. We get the 1, 2, 3. Still wide open on 4s. 2 possibilities, 5, 2 for 6, 2 for 7. One of these 2 is an 8. We get a 9 here. 1, 2, 3. One of these two is a 4. Currently showing 4 possibilities for a 5 here and up here. Oh, by the way, because I'd like to say that one of these two is going to be a 3, any one of these 3 can be a 3. All right, back down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One of these 3 is an 8. 2, 3, 4. 4 possibilities for a 5. We get a 6 here. So that makes this into a 3. One of these two is a 7, 8. One of these two is a 9. Doesn't help with 5s yet, but because I now have one of these two being a 9, this can't be a 9. That means I've got one of these 3 being a 9. Okay. Did we get anything else here? 1, 2, 3. This is a 6 now. Not here. 7. One of these two is an 8. And this, that, or that are 9s. Run through those again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 possibilities for 5, 6, 7. 2 possibilities for 8. 2 possibilities for 9. All right, over here, we've got the 1, 2, 3. Still wide open on 4s. Let's see. One of these 2 is a 5. Pair of 6, pair of 7s, pair of 8s, and a 9. Okay. One, 2, 3, 4. 3 possibilities on 5. 6. These two is a 7, 8, 9. Okay. I think we are at the point where I get to start doing my hunt simulation. Oh, wait, nope. Got an 8 here. Oh, nope, never mind. Not an 8 here. Okay. Is it there? All right. Let's work with the 7 and the 4 here. I don't know which is which here. Let's go with the 7, 4 that way. 4 here, 7 here. That makes this into a 7, 6, 5. Not a... Oh, hold it. Back up. That's not a 6. So, that breaks things. All right. Let's swap those, 7 and 4. That makes that into a 7. 4 down here. This becomes a 7. not a 7 here. Let's see, anything else out of that? Not directly. This becomes a 2. So this is a 2 and a 9 here. Not a 9 there. That's a 9. That's not going to be a 5. One of these two is a 5. Which means that's a 5 up here. So this is not a 5. This is a 5. This is going to be a 3 and a 2. So this is a 3 and a 9. This becomes a 9, 7 and 2. And let's see anything else. Not a 9 here. Not necessarily a 8 either. Or is it? So, can't be a 5. So one of these two, this is not an 8. So that is an 8, not an 8. That turns this into a 4. This becomes an 8, 6, and 5. 4, 5 pair here. Up here we get a 4 and a 1. 7 and 8 here. 5 and 9. 4 and 5. 17 minutes and 49 seconds for the first one. Give me a moment to log that. Well, that is supposedly the easy one. Oh, 49, not 45. And we hit play again. And now I pull up the other puzzle. This is the, oh, that was the easy, or that was a medium that I did. No, that was the easy. There's the medium. Some similarities, but not the same. Note, if you are doing the copying everything down and attempting to solve at the same time I'm solving, you may want to pencil in all of the choices that all what I'm putting in here, and only make corrections when I make the validation, and switch to a different color pencil or something for doing the solve. If you're doing it by pencil, if you're doing this by using something like GNOME Sudoku or a puzzle solver of your own, you've got some options there as well. Doing validation, and let's see. All right, you got 20 seconds. That's probably enough time for me to go into the kitchen, grab a protein drink, but I'll wait. There we go. All right. So one of these three is a 2. One of these 2 is a 2. Got 3 possibilities here. Everything, well, not quite everything's available there. One of these 2 is a 2. One of those 6 is a 2. This one's a 9. This is an 8. One of these 3 will be an 8. And one of these 2 will be a 9. Got 3 possibilities for a 9 there. 2 possibilities for a 9 here. 4 or 5 possibilities here. One of these 3 is an 8. One of these 2 is an 8. Down here, barely too many possibilities. 5. One of these 2 is an 8, though. How about 7? We've got 2 possibilities for a 7 here and here. 3 possibilities here. 4 possibilities here. 5 possibilities here. 3 possibilities, nope, 2 possibilities here. And that reduces, well, we're now down to 3 possibilities here. Okay, 6 is 4 possibilities here. 3 possibilities here. 4 possibilities here. 3 possibilities here. 4 here. And 4 here. Okay, 5s. We've got 2 possibilities for a 5 here. 3 possibilities here. 5 here, that makes us 1 possibility here. Not a 5, that's a 5. And this is a 5. Okay, we do go to 4s. One of these 2 is a 4. One of these 2 is a 4. This one is a 4. And that takes care of 4s for the moment. 3s. I am not seeing guidance on 3s. We'll come back to those. 2s. I get 3 possibilities for a 2 there, 5 possibilities here, 4 possibilities here, 3 possibilities here, so that will reduce those to 2. 5 possibilities here, 2 here, 4 here. And that's all I can do with 2s, so let's look at 1s. One of these 2 is a 1. One of these 2 is a 1. One of these, this one's a 1. That affects anything that might have been matching into there. This is a 1. This is a 1. All right. So let's look at things we had been avoiding before, 2s. So one of these 2 is a 2. Unfortunately, not enough guidance here. These two is a 2. These 3 is a 2. Four possibilities here yet. Four possibilities here. 2 there. All right. Like that's it for 2s at the moment. 1, 2. One of these 3 is a 3, 4, 5. This one's a 6, so one of these 2 is now a 3. Goes at 7, 2 over here. Can't mark anything else for 3s yet, but with that 6 there, we now have 2 possibilities for a 6 here. So 4 possibilities up here. That might change. 4 possibilities here. 3 possibilities here. And that means this is a 6. No, it's not a 6. One of these 2 is a 6. Only because this can't be a 6. All right. And let's see. One of these 2 is a 6. Okay. 1. That makes this into a 2. That is a 2's there. So one of these 2 is a 3. That means one of these 2 is a 3. We're getting earmarks for 3s, even though we don't have solutions for them yet. Okay. One of these 2 is a 2 now, making one of these 2 into a 2. 2 possibilities there. Still, everything's open here. 2 possibilities there. 4 here. All right. Look, 4s. Still 2 possibilities there and here. Solve there, there, there. For givens. Okay. 5s. I think we've got earmarked for everything on 5s that aren't solved. 6s. These 2 is a 6. These 2 is a 6. Over here we got 4 possibilities. 3 possibilities. 3 possibilities here. 7s. We got these 2 earmarked. These 2 are earmarked. So now I can earmark those 2. These 2 can't be 7s, so one of these is a 7. That makes this into a 7. 8s. We got 3 possibilities here. One of these 2 is an 8. One of these 2 is an 8. Okay, I think that's all I can earmark at the moment. Got at least, nope, all 5 of these could be 8. And all 3 of these can be 8s. 9s. Oh, that's a 9. So now I've got 2 possibilities for an 8 there. Still, one of these 2 is going to be a 9. And these 3 is a 9. Got two earmarked there, and everything else is marked or earmarked. 7s, I think, are all earmarked at this point. So this can no longer be a 7, so that's a 7. That doesn't work. Okay. On that note, what do we got left here? Okay, one of these two is a 3. And that's not going to help that. All right. Starting from the top, restart the puzzle. And we are going to go through each square and fully earmark it. One of these two is a 1. One of those is a 2. Everything can be a 3. We got a 4 already. This one's gonna be a 5. 3 possibilities of 6. Sevens, 8. So 4 or 5 possibilities for a 9. Do the same here. We've got a 1. One of those is going to be a 2. Everything has the option of being a 3. One of these two is a 4. Got a 5. One of these 4 is a 6. One of them is also a 7. Got an 8. One of these 2 is a 9, because none of these 3 can be a 9. 1, 2. Mark everything for 3s. One of these two is a 4. Actually, that's a 4. Not a 4 there. Because one of these two is to be a 4, so this can't be. All right. 5. That is to be a 5. 6s. Looks like I don't have any real guidance on 6s yet. One of these two is a 7. One of these 3 is an 8. This one becomes a 9. All right. One of these 2 is a 1. I've got 4 possibilities for 2. Everything becomes a 3. 4, 5, 6. One of these 3 is a 7. Then 8. And one of these 2 is a 9. I got a 1 here. One of these 3 is a 2. Means none of these can be a 2. Everything can be a 3. So something can't. One of these 2 is a 4. Get a 5 there. One of these 6, or one of these 4 is a 6. We get 2 possibilities for a 7. Means that's not a 7. One of these 2 is an 8. And we get a given 9. All right. I've got 2 possibilities for a 1, so that can't be a 1. Oh, 9-3 pair. So now we can clear up some of the threes. It turns this into a 1 as well. Those 9-3s mean that none of these can be 3. So they're going to be down here. Do a quick validation on this one. Get a 1 here. Looking for a 2. One of these two is going to be a 3. 4, 5, 6, and 7. 8 and 9. So yes, this is a 2. So neither of these are 2. Also not a 2 here. Then we get a 9-3 pair here, so we can clean up 3s in there as well. All right. One of these two is going to be a 3. 4. One of these two. This one's going to be a 5. So that's a 1. This one's going to be a 6. So one of these two is going to be an 8. And that moves us down here where this becomes a 1. One of these two is going to be a 2. Mark everything that could be a 3 is a 3. 4, 5. One of these, or this one's going to be a 6. So not a 6 up, not a 6 up here. I get a 7. I've got 3 possible places for an 8. All right. And we get a 1 here. Everything potentially a 2 at the moment. Everything's potentially a 3 at the moment. 4. Get a 5 here. 6, 7. One of these two is an 8. And one of these, this one's a 9. All right. So 1, 2's all over the place. 3's for the moment all over the place, unless we clear something. 4, 5. One of these two is a 6. We've got 4 possibilities. Nope. 2 possibilities for a 7. 2 possibilities for an 8. And a 9 is a given. All right. So it looks like we get to start someplace and see if we can get everything to fun. All right, 8636383. Let's make this one an 8. That doesn't help us. Make it a 3. That becomes a 6. That becomes an 8. Not an 8. This becomes an 8. So this is an 8. And we end up with 2 3s. over here. Not an 8 here. We can clean up something here. Not a 6 here. That should have been cleaned up a while back. Me mistake. All right, 2, 3, 2, 3 makes this into an 8. Not an 8. Not an 8, so that's an 8. 2, 3, 2, 3 makes this a 6, this a 7. That makes this a 2, and this becomes a 7. So we clean up 7s up here. One of those 3 is going to be a 7 now. Let's see, anything else? We got a 1 we can clean up here. This can no longer be a 2. That's going to be a 3. So this is a 2. We can clean up the 2's in this column. And here, this becomes a 6. That means not a 6 here or here. That gives us the 6-7 pair here, so not a 7 here. Also not 7s here. That gives us 4-2, so not a 2 there. Means this is a 2. Doesn't help down there, but this is not a 6. This is not a 9. Or an 8. 7, 3 pairs there. 9, 3, 9, 3, 9, 3. 9, 3, 9, 3 means that into an 8. So not an 8 here. This is not a 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 4, 6, 7, 6, 7, 3. And that cleaned up nicely. Okay. We got a couple more to clean up down here. This becomes a 3 and a 2 here. Nine, 3, 9, 3, so neither 9 nor 3 here. This becomes a 7, this becomes a 1. This becomes a 3, this becomes a 7. 9 and 3. 9, 3, 9, 3 to solve. 24 minutes, 7 seconds. If I subtract the 10 minutes and some that I'd aborted at and did a recount, that means it could have been 14 minutes if I just did a flood fill. But didn't do that, so 24 minutes and 7 seconds. I hope you have a good day. Hope you had better luck with this than I did. And we will look forward to chatting with you.